Hey, Scott Ainslie here. I'm in open A tuning in a 12th fret neck to talk a little bit about slide guitar this evening. If you have a 14th fret neck, I recommend you tune to open G tuning and then capo at the 2nd fret, which will put your 12th fret at the body joint, which is really convenient for this stuff. And the most important thing, there are a couple key lessons for slide. One is, how do you address the guitar and where is it? If the guitar is down here with a neck horizontal, when you move the slide up the neck, your elbow will run into your pelvis or your ribs and you won't be free to move. So with a guitar neck at a little bit of an angle, your bicep can hang from the shoulder joint, and it's very easy to go up and down the guitar neck this way or fall off it this way to play just the high strings. And this way everything gets more awkward. So I wear a strap even when I'm sitting down with these guitars, and I keep the neck at about a 45-degree angle. This is key. When you go to address the guitar, it's a little bit like you're picking up a book. It's like you've got a U joint that you slide the guitar neck in. Your thumb is opposite your index, and you just sort of slide the guitar neck in there. All these knuckles are flat. And that's a really key thing because it allows your fingers to lay down on the strings behind the slide. You can think of your left hand as sort of a fin where everything's connected, and you're going to move it all together. So you slide up the neck, you'll set your thumb on the back of the neck opposite your index finger or your middle finger in there, and then like fine sanding a piece of furniture, you just rub a little bit like that. It's a great way to begin to develop and figure out what muscles are used for vibrato. If you'll notice, if you pull back on the guitar like this, your bicep fires and you can't do vibrato at all. The vibrato depends on your arm hanging loosely from the shoulder and your thumb being set well against the back of the neck. When you push forward a little bit with your thumb, all the extensors relax, and it's much easier to do vibrato. If you try and pull back like this, you can't do it at all. If you take your thumb off the neck and stick it out in the air like this, then you're trying to control a fine motor skill from your shoulder, and that's also a really bad thing to do. So allowing your thumb to slide along the back of the neck as you move up and down, and then set it when you land somewhere and press against the back of the neck a little bit, and you'll feel your hands soften as you make good firm contact with your thumb, and then you just do a little vibrato. These are key skills, being able to drag a finger behind the slide to mute behind it as you go. So this part of the string is not making those kind of noises, and you're only hearing the working part of the string, the part of the string that you want to hear. And none of that stuff. So we get a nice clean sound by laying a finger behind the slide and moving your hand up just like you're petting a cat. Not a dog. Hi boy, good boy. But cats. A nice, gentle, sensual sort of movement of the slide. Very, very nice. Very, very light touch. And again, your hand is addressing the guitar, not like a guitar player's hand, with your knuckles arched, with your hand flat, like a slide player's hand. And we'll move up. Eventually, we'll drop off and play some notes behind the slide. But for right now, this hand position is really critical, where you're going to slide up the guitar neck. Your thumb's going to come with you as you move the whole hand up, and then you set your thumb and press against the back of the neck, and you can do a little vibrato. It's a very, very nice vibrato. Will take a long time to get right, so don't worry too much about that. But it's a very, very fine thing to go at slowly and carefully, and to really control the sound of the guitar. Now, I'm muting with my fingers behind the slide with my left hand, and that allows me to play a note and stop it by lifting the slide, just like opening a screen door on your index finger as a hinge a little bit. You just flip your hand open and it stops the noise. And that allows you to play staccato notes and also to slide into a note and stop it, and then drop back and pick up another note. This is very common in slide guitar playing. On the first string at the 10th, 12th fret, it would sound like this. You hear the sound stop? You reset in the air and then play it really. You don't slide into every note. Very, very nice. I'm also muting with my right hand. This is called pick blocking. And what this is where you set your thumb on a string of the guitar above in space, below in pitch, the string you want to play. And so if I'm going to play the second string, for instance, I'll put my thumb, notch it like an arrow on the third string, and lay the back of it down against the bass string so they don't make any noise. I'll hold on to the first string with my redneck salute finger, and then play the second string with my index finger, my pointer finger. Pick blocking is a skill that all pedal steel and lap steel players use. A lot of slide guitar players do too. The finest ones do that as well. And if you're playing solo, it's absolutely critical. If I want to play the third string, I move my thumb up to the fourth string and set it and hold on to three strings with my fingers so that, again, nothing will make any noise on the guitar except the string I want to make noise. The fourth string, my hand moves up to the fifth, my thumb moves up to the fifth string, and I'm holding on to all the other strings with my free fingers so that, again, nothing can make noise except the note that I want. And this allows you to do those great inside slides that Robert Johnson was famous for, where he's playing a single note on an inside string and often coming out of the whole guitar, make a noise like this. And the way you learn this right hand technique is to come off the guitar and go right back down with all your fingertips ready to play. So I'm going to keep my index finger on the fourth string, which is the note that I'm playing here, and my thumb's going to hit the fifth and block the sixth. So I have this off, stop. Stop. Now you can't do the Pete Townsend thing, you'll never get back, right? So stay close to the strings, your fingers all close together, just like the string spacing of your guitar, and you're going to come off the guitar and back. And then we're going to stop the sound and play one string, the fourth string, like this. So there's always a stop just before you play. And then we add the slide. And we're going to slide from around 3 to 5. So we're sliding up to an A in this case. I'm in A tuning. This great clean slide. You can do the same thing on all the other strings. You just put your thumb above the string you want to play. Use your index finger as your sort of trigger finger for this mostly. Sometimes your second finger, and mute with everything else. So we've got a very elegant one muscle pattern that you're just moving around on the strings of the guitar depending on which string you need to make noise, right? So we have right hand muting or pick blocking. We've got muting with the left hand and the ability to slide up to a note and stop it. Now if we take a quick look at adding fingers behind the slide before we move into Come On to My Kitchen, we have this. And this is done by using the slide for the upper note. Now when you fret a note, this is 12 on the second string, 10 with the index finger, 12 with the slide, 11 with the redneck salute finger, your second finger, back to the slide, back to 10, and 12. Now that is done by raising the slide up off the strings and fretting it at the same time. So you can't really pull off with the slides. What you're doing is getting it out of the way and pushing the second string below the string plane. If the slide is here, you're going to press the string down when you fret it. And when you want to touch it with the slide, you have to let it rise back up into where the slide is, back into the string plane. So this is a sort of a teeter-tottery kind of thing where it's slide, finger, slide, finger, slide, finger. And you'll see me let go with my index finger or redneck salute finger to let the string come back up. And here I'm tipping up on the nose of the slide and the inside strings and getting the slide off the second string and hammering hard with my index finger. Very, very cool techniques. You can also just walk a note down. So if you wanted a seventh, you could do this at 12 with a slide. Going down from the tonic to the major seventh to the minor seventh. Now, as you get lower down the neck, the strings are closer to the frets, and it's hard to get some of these things to happen. It's easier to do it when they got a little more relief on the neck, on the strings up high in the upper frets, and so a lot of slide playing happens up here. When you play down low, you want to play very, very gently, so the string doesn't come off the slide, nor does it rattle against the fret. One of the worst habits you can get into in playing slide with your right hand is to reach underneath a string, as some guitar players do, me included, when I want to get a loud snap out of the guitar, like that, where I'm pulling the string away from the front of the guitar and letting it snap back. But when you do that with a slide, it makes good contact with the slide when you play it, and then it separates from the slide when it goes into the guitar body. It comes back out and hits the slide again, and it makes this terrible noise, and you also lose sustain. Here we go. Now, if I play it in the string plane, where I excite the string in line, so I'm not pulling it away from the slide, then I have a lot of sound to work with. And you'll notice that my hand is canted up a little bit, and I'm not pulling away from the front of the guitar, I'm playing in the string plane. So, a couple of tips, just core technique things that it's good to be mindful of. So, Come On to My Kitchen takes advantage of all these techniques. And it starts with 3 upward slides from 10 to 12 on the third string, the second string, and then the first 2 strings with a little silence between each one. So you get this. And then you land at 12. So it's 3, 2, and 1 and 2. And you'll notice I'm moving my thumb, my right hand pick block. I start with the third string, and then move down. Then there's this nice little shuffle in the bass part. So the very first statement of this tune is the melody, "The woman I love." Then you slide up on 2, back on 1, back up on 2, and land on 3. This is a kind of an L shape where you go from 10 to 12, to 12 to 10, 10 to 12, and then land on 12. So you're sort of flopping the L one way or the other way when you get up there. So you get this thing that looks like this. And again, I'm muting the strings. As soon as I'm done with them, I mute them. So one more time, and it's like the slide's almost in continuous motion. One more. So the first phrase is 3 upward slides, 3, 2, and 1. And the ellipse. That's the first line. The woman I love stole from my best friend. And then we jump from 12 to 14 and back. And this all happens on the second and first string, so I have my thumb rooted on the third string to stop it from making noise. And it's hard to get the sound to stop, really. Again, it's move on 2, play 1, and then jump up. Sort of weepy, sort of barbershop-y thing. Some joker got lucky. And then stole it back again. And this is a 12 note. I flatten this one. I don't think Robert Johnson does. And then back to 12 on 3. And you watch my right hand move. Again. So I'm closing down the strings so I don't want to with that. If you can't stop the sound of a slide, your slide playing will eventually sound the way finger painting looks. There'll just be too much sound building up. By creating silence in between the notes you play with the slide, you can separate them and highlight the slide notes. And the ones that are straight or that you don't slide into also have a heightened identity. It's the contrast between something played cleanly and something played muddily, something played sweetly and something played hard. A note that you play cleanly and one that you slide into. So we slide on 2 and then play right on the third string. So I'm going to play you a little bit of this tune and then we'll discuss a couple of other things. Just a quick walkthrough of slide technique and Come On to My Kitchen. So I'll play through it, and as I stumble on something that seems completely new and off the charts, I will stop and mention it to you. Now, there's a couple of things here. One is a lovely walk down contrapuntal move where Johnson plays the flatted 7th on the 4th string at the 3rd fret, and then sort of A minor 7 sort of shape, and then this in a couple of different open tuning tunes. And you hear these two notes go different directions. They're contrapuntal, and then it resolves. And the other thing is, sometimes I often go to the real 5 chord here, to the 7th fret, and then tip the slide up a little bit and play the 7th with my finger at the 5th fret. I'm not going to play the high strings because I can't get to them with this slide, so I'm just going to tip it up and play that 7th note. And then the melody. This is 10 on the 3rd string, 8 on the 2nd string, and then, and this little move where you faint down on the 3rd string and then come right back up for a clean 4th string note. Now the ear will hear almost like you're doing this, but you only have to indicate the slide. The listener will do the rest of the work for you. So you just sort of faint down and then come right back up. I'm not even getting a half step down. I can get a half step down, but I don't need to. And I certainly don't need this. Just indicate the movement and then come right back up. And the hardest part of this tune actually is, once you get these chord techniques down, the hardest part is the fiddler's lick at the end of Sitting on Top of the World. Robert took this melody for Come On to My Kitchen from the Mississippi Sheik's 1927 hit, and he also stole the fiddler's lick that he played between each of the verses, which is, on the fiddle is pretty easy, and in slide guitar is a nightmare. So it's... that much is okay. So 4th string by itself from 3 to 5, and then again, and open. Again. So 2 upward slides with silence between them. And then a 5th string slide. The longer you can take with that, the cooler it is. I'm also starting flat. I'm starting in between the 2nd and 3rd fret. It's not, nor is it, I'm starting way in the quarter tone world, and it creates a lot of emotional tension. That little bass thing is what's so crazy about this, and it's... And I play this with my right hand by playing the 5th string with my thumb, the 6th string with my finger, and coming back and getting the 5th string with my thumb again. So it's... This is totally awkward. Thumb, finger, thumb. You have to get your arm out of the way so your finger can get to it. And then you play the 5th string, 5th fret note on the 1st string, the unison for the key of A. And I usually fret that 2nd string note. That's a unison for the 1st string. It could be this. But I don't want to take the slide off the string, so I reach back and fret it with my index finger. That lick again. And we'll play through it one more time. effects at the 15th fret. Again. You better come on in my kitchen, 'cause it's going to be raining outdoors. Yeah. So have some fun with that.